The type of man that came to marry my daughter, Osinachi. Anambra man from Okpok, Nnewi. What I saw in this man, I never believed that kind of thing is in this world. Since he came to my house to marry Osinachi Nwachukwu, since he came to marry her, my daughter had no peace. Even me, I had no peace. He took her like a slave. He took her for nothing. He had no regard for her. He treats her as he likes. It happened that even after she got married, it was up to 8 years before I saw her with my 2 eyes. Since she got married. When she delivered, her husband did not tell me she has delivered. It was friends and neighbors that told me she had put to bed. People that knew her there, that knew her before she got married, are the ones that told me that my daughter had put to bed. I called her and she said yes, she had delivered. Then I called her husband. Her husband said that I shouldn't disturb him. That is how he wants, that he does as he wants. And I asked him, you said anyhow you like, that's how you behave. And my own daughter that I bore 9 months, you're telling me you do what you like. It is very bad now. It is not good. And I asked him, but you told me when you were coming to my place to marry her that you are a pastor, which made me accept you. Now that he's behaving like this, I asked him again, I thought you told me you are a pastor. And he asked me, and so what? When he said this, I then told him, what I saw before is no longer what I'm seeing now. Then he told me he owes me nothing, that he had married my daughter. Then I told him I will come for Mugo. I will come and take care of the mother and the baby. He told me he doesn't want to see me. He doesn't want me to come and do any Mugo for her daughter. When he told me this, I kept quiet. Then I called my daughter, Osinachi. I told her I wanted to come for Mugo. And she said, what did my husband say? And I told her, your husband said he doesn't want to see me. And my daughter said, I shouldn't worry. Please, I should leave it. Then I kept calm. My daughter refused to tell me what she had been passing through. It was friends, outsiders, that were telling me what she had been passing through. After her 4th child, she got pregnant for the 2nd child. A neighbor that is living with her, 74 Ikene Road, called me, called my family, that if we know what we want to do for this, her daughter, we should do. Then I called my daughter Osinachi and I asked my daughter, how are you living with your husband? She said it's not what I'm supposed to be asking her, that she doesn't have any problem. This happened till she got pregnant again and she delivered. She delivered and called me herself, that she wants me to come, that she's suffering. She cannot bear it. Nobody is taking care of her. That what her husband is doing to her is too much. Then I looked around. I had to call my husband. And I told my husband that, see what Peter said, that if my daughter didn't come back alive, she will come back dead. Then I called Ada, my first daughter, and told her, come, please, let's arrange how to go and bring Osinachi back. What does he mean by if she didn't come back alive, she will come back dead? When we finished agreeing and talking about it, my daughter agreed that she would go. She dressed and went to Abuja. When she got to Abuja, she carried her and came back. Her baby was 3 months old when they came back home. That baby and the first child that was 2 years old. So she came and stayed with me. She stayed with me in our home for a year and 3 months. Then the husband came back. Then I told him, you told me that if my daughter didn't come back alive, she'll come back dead. Then there's no need for her to come back to your house. The one you have married is okay for me. Then my daughter opened her mouth. I will tell you the truth. My daughter opened her mouth and told me that what God had joined together, nobody should put asunder. That she will go back to her husband's home. I begged her not to go back. Instead, he get married to another husband. My daughter said no, she will not marry another man. She has wedded. That she doesn't want another separation. After a while, her husband keep coming and keep coming. Then he took her and went back to Abuja. And then he continued treating her the same way. I don't even know where they lived in Abuja. The first bet I did not go to see her. The second bet I did not go to see her. He doesn't even want to see us. Whether we are alive or dead, he doesn't care. My first son died. He did not come to mourn for him. I kept quiet. When I became sick, my daughter called her husband and begged him that because I'm sick, let him allow me come back home. Let me come back and stay with them and take care of her. The husband refused. When I came to stay with Peter, I stayed a month. He sent me back. He sent me away. I had to carry my things and went to one of my daughter. Then called a woman to help her go and pick me from Peter's house that he has sent me out. If she knows where she will keep me, she should go and keep me there. A Delta woman came and carried me, took us to her house. We stayed at her place and I was going to the hospital to take treatment. I stayed at her place 2 months before I came back home. Since then, my daughter went to marriage at Peter's place. If that is how marriage is, it would have been better she did not get married. If this is what marriage is all about, the most painful part is he said if my daughter did not come back alive, she will come back dead. Now today, see what has happened. She came back dead. She fell sick January. She became well and by February she became sick again. Then she got well again. They kept going to the hospital and coming back. They went for lab, did all the processes. They were not seeing anything. They did not find out anything wrong with her. It is today that I just heard that Peter said my daughter had cancer. But Peter said with his own mouth that he did not see anything, that there was nothing wrong with her. On Wednesday, I spoke with my daughter. She told me I should not worry, that she had small headache. What I saw was beyond me, but it is God that has all judgments. Even though my daughter has been suffering, traveling everywhere to sing her gospel music, and her husband was not doing anything. It did not get me angry. But my daughter was bearing all this. Her husband would be in it and insult her. He would treat her the way he likes. And my daughter has been bearing it. And I told my daughter, this man will kill you. He has said it. My daughter said she has decided to stay in the marriage, that her husband will change. Then yesterday, then I spoke with her on Wednesday. Then I called her and she answered. I asked her, how are you doing? And she told me she is all right. And I told her she would be well. Then I said, thank God that my daughter is getting herself again. Then I called her. I said to her, oh, thank God for what He has done in your life. And she said, no problem. Then she said, Mama, that a nurse is here to attend to her, that she will talk to me later. Then in the evening, she did not call me then, but I called her. I called, she did not pick. The next day I called, she did not pick. Then I called Amara, her twin sister. Have you spoken with your sister? She said no. She told me she would call me, but she had not called me. What Peter did to my daughter, I cannot explain it all. It's only God in heaven knows what he had done to my daughter. When Peter called me 8 in the night, but my daughter died in the morning. People that made me know my daughter had died. A friend, an Igbo friend that is good with my daughter. She's the one that made me know my daughter has died. She said, Osinachi said she should get food for her. She prepared the food and went to the hospital. She did not see Osinachi on the bed again. That's how she got to know that Osinachi is dead. I called and called and called her. She did not pick her call. Till that evening, that was when he called me. I called him since morning, he did not pick. It was in the night around 8 that he picked my call. Then I asked him, how are people doing? He said they are fine. I said, how are the children? He said they are fine. I asked him, what about Osinachi? He said Osinachi left in the afternoon. I asked him, where did he go to? Where did she go to? He said she died. And I asked him, so that thing you said you would do, you have done it. I think you said if she did not come back alive, she will come back dead. God will judge this. Her sister went looking for her to see her when she was sick. Her husband refused her to enter the hospital and see her. Her brother is in Abuja. If he goes to see Osinachi, the husband would send him away. We keep begging this man. He refused. We told him, look at the children are still tender, allow us to go and help and take care of the children. He refused. He told us he's not telling us he cannot take care of his family, but he knows how to take care of how he takes care of his family. The truth, truly, I say, it is paining me. It doesn't pain me to the extreme because God knows all things. He knows all things. Since it is someone like me that God allowed somebody like Peter Nwachukwu to come to, I said, God, in all things, take all the glory. 4 children my daughter gave birth to. Since they had them all, they don't know where I live. They've not brought them to my house since, except that early stage, early time when they were 2 and tender. I wanted them to come and visit me, but he said there is no connection between the children and I. Guys, this is where Osinachi's mother's statements ended. I guess if this man hadn't come to this family as a pastor, they would have investigated more. They might not have allowed him to get married to their daughter, or they would have checked thoroughly well to find the kind of person he is. But because he came professing to be a pastor, again that covered the whole matter. So they didn't go far to check deeper to know the kind of person he is. Please, my dear singles, when you want to get married, be extremely careful, watchful, and prayerful about who you want to marry. The devil will not come to you with horns or with swords, but with a broad smile, a love notes, sweet words, and playing nicely. Please don't fall victim. But before you go, click the subscribe button. See you next time. Bye bye.